Normally we have 20. Who's missing?
Yeah, they'll come straggling in.
Straggle.
So what if someone gets the Pfizer and first and second the others?
I don't know, actually. I don't know if you can mix and match them.
What if someone misses the deadline for the uh, second vaccine?
So, like, how far did you miss the deadline, or did they miss the deadline? So, because let's say like Pfizer, I think is 14 days, but that window, that's like a really short window. In actuality, you have like 30 days that you can get it. So the efficacy starts tapering off as you prolong the exposure or prolong the second dose, but you can still get it up to like 30 or 36 days on Pfizer. Moderna, I think, has 28 days between doses, but I think you can go up to 45 days.
Mm.
My wife got the Moderna one and she felt absolutely horrible the day after.
Can happen to some people differently, right?
Yeah. Oops. Didn't mean to ask you to unmute, Fran.
What's Wim Hof say about the vaccines?
Just get high on your own supply and you'll be fine.
That's what I figured.
No, actually, I haven't really read anything. Yeah, he claims that his breathing method will help boost the immune system to help prevent you get sick. But
well, actually, there's scientific research that shows he's right.
Oh yeah, yeah, I still do it every day.
Hello, Dr. Beth. Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the final day of our teaching. And let's get started with a short meditation. Please settle on your seats. Sit comfortably with your back and your head straight. Relax. Relax your eyebrows. Close your eyes gently and compassionately. Keep one palm on the other and rest them on your lap or on your knees as you feel comfortable. Then let's take a good long deep breath. Hold it for a few seconds and then slowly release and relax. Let's do it one more time. Deep long breath and hold it for a few seconds and slowly release and relax. One more time, take your time, hold it and release. Release all the tensions of your muscles and release the entire body. The upper section of the body, the midsection of the body, and the lower section of the body. Today we will practice Metta Bhavana, loving kindness meditation. Breathing can be very important in this exercise as well. So to settle into your meditation, it's good to start with breathing and then slowly integrate our breathing into our scanning and then radiate the loving kindness to ourselves and then to everyone else in the world. Let's visually imagine that we are entering a swimming pool and slowly feeling ourselves. The water level is going up and we feel every inch of the water touching our skin, and then we slowly dip ourselves completely inside the water. Feel the sensation, feel that feeling when you do that, that cooling sensation, and that awareness when the water touches every single part of your body, every single section of your body, starting from the feet and then the toes, the ankles, and then slowly coming up and to the knees and to the thighs and to the lower back and to the tummy and covering the back, the chest, the collarbones, the shoulders, and also the hands, the nails, the fingers, the palms, the wrist, the elbows, and the shoulders, and then the neck, and the chin, and the lips, and the nose, the eyes, the forehead, and finally the top of the head. while scanning, we also radiate loving kindness to ourselves. When you scan yourself, if you find any spot of your body where you feel tight, numb, painful, stay there for a while, focus, radiate loving kindness to that spot. Maybe you can start using this formula to heal that spot. May I be well and happy and healthy. May I be well and happy and healthy. May I be well and happy and healthy. May I be free from physical suffering. May I be free from mental suffering. May I feel safe. May I feel no fear. May I feel peaceful. May I feel comfortable. Radiate this beautiful, powerful energy all throughout the body, back and forth, reaching out to every cell, every muscle, every joint, every internal and external part of your body. All the internal and external organs covered. If you feel any discomfort, difficulty, pain, numbness, tightness, stay there. Heal that area. Use the breathing as a powerful tool, and then the loving kindness together. Then let us radiate the loving kindness throughout the body, and then we radiate our loving kindness to all the people in Maba, all the people, the founder, the abbot, and Venerable Kongyang, and all the people, the monks, the devotees, friends, well-wishers who are working for the benefit of the community. All the students, all the teachers, and then let's also radiate loving kindness to this Abhidhamma class, all the teachers, all the students, all the auditors, and all the people who help us in so many different ways than one. And then we also radiate loving kindness to all the near and dear ones in your life. including your pets, your parents, your spouse, your children, siblings, relatives, teachers, elders, all the good friends, and the neighbors. Let us think of all of them and let us radiate loving kindness to all of them. Let us also think of all the neutral ones in the world. The vast majority of this world are actually neutral to us. We don't know them, they don't know us. But we don't want any of them in the unfriendly category. Rather, we want them to be in the friendly category, if possible. And then we also think of all the unfriendly ones in the world. If we ever had in our lives someone who was not happy with you, someone who was jealous of you, who was angry with you, who was yelling at you, who was revenging you, hating you, all of them, trying to harm you, all of them. May they all be well and happy and healthy. May they all be well and happy and healthy. May they all be well and happy and healthy. May no harm come to them. May no anger come to them. May no hatred come to them. May no jealousy come to them. May no fear come to them. May they be well, happy, and healthy. Thinking thus, please take a good, long, deep breath and then hold it for around 5 to 10 seconds. And then slowly release from all the tension, all the negativity, and then release and relax. And with closed eyes, keep your palms together close to your heart and say 3 times, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Now slowly and gently open your eyes with a more positive energy, full of loving kindness and compassion to all sentient beings and looking at the brighter side of the world. Thank you, everyone. Take the Okay. Can you see the screen? Okay. Okay, so welcome to Mid-America Buddhist Association, Right Mindfulness Training Academy, and welcome to DPBS 13074, Abhidhamma and Development of Buddhist Thought. And as we already mentioned, today is the last day of teaching, and next time we meet, we will have a mock exam and also Q&A, of course, will be there on May 1st and May 2nd. And this is the timing that we meet. And okay, so Manual of Abhidhamma, this is the revision that we are going to have on May 1st, and the mock exam on May 2nd. And these are the chapters, some of the chapters that we discuss. Of course, this is the end of the book, Abhidhamma Sangaha, ninth chapter. So we will focus on that. And it's really kind of an, pinnacle of our journey, the final destination of our course and also of our samsara, path to Nibbana. Okay, so in chapter 9, we talk about samatha and insight, calm and insight, samatha and vipassana. And we also will try our best to talk about the meditation subjects, different temperaments, purity levels, right view, paths and different individuals, attainment, and finally arahantaship. Hope we can work on that as much as we can. So here, twofold subjects of mental culture, what we call samatha and vipassana. Samatha means the calmness. There's the peace and happiness that we have deep inside, and that really helps improve our concentration. And then vipassana is passati is to see, and vipassati means to see something special, and that deep insight, to see, to look into yourself will be very special when we talk about vipassana. So vipassana, samatha also was there in India, in contemporary, among Indian practitioners. Samatha was there, but vipassana was totally Buddhist practice. And samatha also, Buddhist way of samatha also is there. So the jhana, for example, those days the jhana was there, but remember some of the right view and certain things when we come to samatha, they can also be different. Maybe the level of concentration, they have lot in similarity, but maybe they have, some scholars suggest jhana is a word that the Buddhism borrowed from those days Indian practitioners. But jhanic levels, achievements are totally Buddhist, according to some. And we have certain objects of mental culture, bhavana, and what we call um, s- kammatthana. So there are 40 kammatthanas according to Abhidhamma Sangha. And if you can you see this? This is path of purification. Buddha Gosas, Venerable Buddha Gosas, voluminous treatment uh, on the Tipitaka, covering so many topics, and that is called Visuddhi Magga. I think I mentioned about that before. And Abhidhammata Sangha and Visuddhimagga can also go hand in hand. They are also very helpful if you want to have more insight. Maybe you can also have a look at Visuddhimagga. Visuddhimagga is basically divided into three: Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So Sila is the basic level and the very foundation. And then that Sila is divided into further categories, many: Chula Sila, Majjhima Sila, Maha Sila, as in some suttas in the Digha Nikaya. So many different details are there. And then Samadhi is the concentration part, where we talk about many different techniques and all. And then the Panya is the deep understanding, the final realization. So 10 entities or kasinas. Most of the time I notice that a lot of people, they use 10 kasinas. And in some cases I also found kasina means overall. So entirety is a term that some people have used. So I thought it matches. So we can use that. And asubha, subha means pure or auspicious, and asubha means the opposite, so impurities. So there are 10 kasinas, 10 impurities, and anusati. Sati is mindfulness, anusati is reflecting on something. So there are 10 reflections. And appamanya, and then this one again, pamanya and appamanya, you can see the difference. Illimitables or sublime states, or we also call it Brahma Vihara for illimitables. And then ahare particular sanya or sanya, just we can also call sanya, perception. And Chatudhatu Vavatthana or Vavatthana, that is the analysis of elements, 4 elements. And then Arupa Jhana, for immaterial jhanas. So here we have um, 40 mental culture, objects of mental culture, 40 kammathanas. If any one of you want to practice, you can practice these things. And some of them not necessarily are relevant to you, depending on your temperament. As I mentioned, depending on your temperament, you have to practice. As I mentioned, when I was a young monk, a little child, and when we went to the temple, so the monk gave us a banana, you know, and then how we eat the banana. And that is natural. We don't know. We have never had any training. So they also see some of them like peel the banana, and then maybe some of them like, take one piece and then with the other hand they eat, or they just, some of them eat like that. And the way they eat also is a kind of interview. And then they give also they give you an equal broom, a broom to, and then ask, they just do it naturally. They will ask you to sweep the temple backyard. And then when you do it, how you do it, how careful you become when you do it. And maybe some people really doing it faster. And when some of them sweep, they actually push the dirt even. And some of them, when they sweep, they sweep only uh, the leaves and other things on the top. And some of them also do it like an art. I remember we were also doing it like a coconut leaf, some art, some designs. So we did, but at the very beginning, they can recognize your character, your temperament when you do things. So the way you eat, the way you talk, the way you walk will be a good impression. And even like when we eat, we have the food plate and how we eat, like starting from here and there. And in our culture, we use a hand, a bare hand to eat. So how we eat, do we keep the food everywhere or only here? And then also how we eat, and then like the food, also how careful you become when you eat. All these are actually part of your character testing, your temperament testing. And then accordingly they can decide, they can determine your character, your temperament. So this is how normally most of the meditation masters can also feel. And temperaments, charita, and there are 6 of them. Some of them can be like you can have maybe 2 3 together mixed, but one temperament can be more predominant in you. Either you become raga charita or dosa charita. Raga charita lustful, and dosa charita like hateful and unintelligent or ignorant. Oh, there is a printing mistake, typo. Moha charita. And then also there are like saddha charita, devout or faithful, spiritual people, like religious people. They have more faith and devotion. And then intellectual or wise people, they are called buddhi charita. And then people, vitaka charita people have discursive thoughts. So depending on your temperament, a meditation object should be selected. There are some meditation objects that can be applied to many, and some can be applied to certain people. So, like Raga Charita people, the lustful people are very kind of romantic and also very clean, and also they want neat and tidy, and their handwriting also is very nice. And so they are kind of different. Like hateful people, they write faster, they do things faster, and they are really quick witted people, different. And so like faithful people, for example, also very religious, and also like they have fear and they have shame. All these things are there. And intellectual people are, another category, like buddhi charita people. They don't worry about certain things, and no rituals, rites, and they are not so interested in such things. Yeah, so I think for them, meditation also is a good one. But there are certain meditation uh, objects that we will discuss later. Discursive people again, like they also have different objects of meditation here that we are going to discuss later on. Okay. Then there are stages of mental culture. Uh, these are three mental stages. One is called Parikamma Bhavana, and that is preliminary stage. When you see that preliminary stage, for example, today we were meditating, maybe our Parikamma Bhavana would be the breath, or maybe the loving kindness, and also maybe that object of meditation, whatever. That is Parikamma Bhavana. Sometimes, let's say, like look at a picture and um, take a screenshot into your mind, and then focus on that. And then some also have like kasina, for example, Patavi kasina. You have some earth, clay spot that you look into that, keep looking, keep gazing at that, and then you practice on that, and that becomes your parikamma preliminary. And proximate upachara in upachara bhavana, you get it um, more deeper, and then concentrative or appana bhavana becomes even more established in your system, in your meditation. And then science can be there. That is called preliminary science, very preliminary science, like when you meditate on um, anapanasati, you will feel that different sensations, the subtlety, this breath, length and breadth of your breathing, and all these things can be preliminary signs. And then some can also feel like a cloud or something. Some may feel like scratching, um, like maybe some white spot. Maybe these things can be our early preliminary signs of progress. They are signs of progress. As I mentioned, um, it is like only signposts that we have. We have to find them in our meditation. And then they are not really like A to Z. It can be in many different ways. It is by practice, by experience, that we need to find these things. And so the abstract or the uggaha, uh, it's another level of your nimitta, and conceptualized or patibhaga nimitta is one more further advanced level. And there can also be like when you have the nimitta, um, the nimitta can appear to you and for a short time maybe, and then you need to keep working on that, and then when you see it more and more, and that will be a good one, and later on you will also have it anytime you want, and that is another level. So signs are the first important junctures in your practice. And then these are the 10 kasinas, what we call Pathavi kasina, earth element, and then Apo kasina, water, Tejo kasina, fire, and Vayo kasina, air, Nila, blue, Pita, yellow, Lohita, red, and Odata, white, Akasa, sky, and Aloka, light. So these are just for introducing, and later on we will discuss more about them too. Uh, okay, let me. Pathavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. Pathavi is the earth element, and when someone wants to meditate on earth element, actually in Pa school, they practice on all of them. They practice on all the 40 samatas, these kasinas and everything that gives them a lot of exposure. But not every meditation school would do that anyway. So some of them do that. Okay, I will come back to this one more later on. And impurities, that is the monks, the practitioners, they also practice on asubha, or 10 impurities of the body. And these are very difficult, but for some practitioners, that is very important, especially for Raga Charita people. Working on impurities is very important, very useful. A swollen and bloated corpse called Uddhu Mataka, a bluish, discolored, livid corpse Vinilaka, a rotting, festering corpse Vipubaka, and a cut up, split, disjoint corpse Vichittaka, and eaten, gnawed corpse, what we call Vikhaitaka, a scattered corpse is Vikhitaka, a mangled corpse Hatha Vikhitaka, a bleeding corpse Lohitaka, a worm-fested corpse Pulavaka, and finally skeleton. Yesterday I found actually a book on Thai language that has all the impurities, vivid pictures. But I thought it's not easy to see those pictures for some people. Maybe like viewer discretion and how inside the body, and and also different levels of these impurities are there. Like they have taken real pictures, and I thought, okay, maybe you can have a look later on if you want. But maybe I think I should show you at least one picture. Let me see. Um, Uh, like most of the time we see monks, like some meditation practitioners, they go to sometimes they go to um, the hospital to see the real time how they do the embalming, and when there is some people's uh, the monks go and see for themselves to see the body, all those uh, like some people don't really have the capacity to see that, but the practitioners they can go and have a look. The monks they do it actually. I'm searching for that. Um, all right, here we go. Yeah, this is okay. This is the one I wanted to show at least. This one. Um, so the monk can see different levels of the decaying of body, and eventually it becomes skeleton. And I also know there are some meditation centers, they are given dead bodies. So they really see the dead body. Um, they are given the dead body and they are in the caves. They see the dead body decaying, the whole process, and they practice on that. And how different. And there are some glass um like boxes or something. So inside that, the body decays. They can see that. And some they even practice in the cemeteries. They can even have a good look at uh, the natural decaying of the body. When some those days, people did not bury or people did not cremate. They just dumped the bodies into the jungle. So jungle animals would come and do the eat and all, and these practitioners could see them. It's happening actually. Even in Tibet, the body is just dumped on the rocks, and so those hawks and eagles they come and eat the flesh. This is happening. So this is part of again meditation. Okay, let me go back to our slide. Okay, so this is about Asubha Bhavana. And okay, I think I also told you about how skeletons like Atthika Bhavana is practiced. One time when a monk was practicing on Atthika Bhavana and he was walking along the street, maybe he was walking for his alms round, and then he met a lady, and then she was smiling at the monk, and then she passed away. She passed by, and then her husband came later on asking if there was a lady that he met. The monk said, "I didn't meet a lady, but I met a skeleton," he said. Because when she smiled, the teeth was the object of attention for the monk, because he was, even while walking, he was practicing on Atthika Bhavana. So that is an interesting practice. Many meditation centers also would have a skeleton So they also know about the body, and they also know about different um, ways of the body decomposing. Reflections, 10 reflections are there. Anusati, reflection on the Buddha, and Buddha Anusati. For certain characters, this is also very wonderful. And reflection on Dhamma, Dhammanusati, reflection on the Sangha, Sanghanusati, reflection on the morality, Sila Anusati. You can also reflect on your own Sila. Very, very uh, powerful practice. Reflection on the generosity, Chaga. There is, this one also is important, like you practice on your own generosity and you keep improving it. And so for some certain level of meditation, these things are very important, very useful. uh, I remember uh, there is a book called Punya Pothaka. Let me write that down in the chat. Punya, Punya Pothaka. Punya Pothaka in Sinhala, it's called Ting Pothaka. Ting Pothaka means Pothaka is book, Punya is merit. So they record their merits. All the merits. I have done this thing, I have done that thing, you know. So when in dying days, someone will read that book for that person. You know, just reminding, you have done so many good things, so be happy, you know, something like that. Um, for some, it really is helpful, and when you are weak maybe, and also you should also be mindful, not to build up your own ego, though, but looking at the positive things, um, you know, building up your own positive energy. I think generosity is a really wonderful way. Oh, I have done this thing and I'm so happy, you know, I keep doing it. And Devatanusati is about the Devas and how they become Devas, and maybe looking or thinking of them. They are beautiful, powerful energy, and that way some people can also practice meditation. And Upasamanusati, reflection on peace and death, very, very important practice again, reflection on death, Marananusati. And Kayagata Sati, um, Satipatthana Sutta also has a good explanation about this. Kayagata Sati, mindfulness on body, like different parts of the body, 32 parts of the body, like Kesa, Loma, Nakha, Danta, Tacho, Mansa, Naharu, all these 32 parts are there. Starting with your hair, and then body hair, and then nail, and then skin, and the flesh, and the bone, and also internal organs, everything that covers 32 parts. Mindfulness on body and mindfulness on breathing, very good and very popular practice again. So these are also practiced in different ways. Like Pa Auk tradition in Myanmar, they focus more on the tip of the nose, and some even have like a tube, yeah, in the Pa Auk tradition. But um, Mahasi tradition in Myanmar, they practice on belly movement, like so that's they practice more on that, and it works for some people in different ways. So if it works, it's fine. As long as it's working for you, you can also see them. So many monks, many practitioners, they have been practicing, and they have also learned their own, improved their own ways, and if it helps, uh, definitely it should be okay. Like some cultures, like Tibetan tradition, maybe the Chinese tradition, Thai, Vietnam, Korean, Japanese, all these wonderful monks also practice in different ways. So they have their own ways. Maybe can be very helpful to, um, depending on their culture, also depending on their experience. Theravada tradition, mostly they have very similar practices in Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos, also some parts of India, some parts of Bangladesh, and yeah, many countries, even in Vietnam. Nowadays, it's also getting popular in traditional other Mahayana countries, like even in mainland China, Taiwan, and Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia. They also have some, even in Indonesia. Now even in the West, um, and Australia, New Zealand, Canada, England, all these countries also have Theravada practices. So it's more useful to see them practicing uh, together sometimes. Theravada, Mahayana practitioners together. It's so beautiful to see them learning from each other and progressing on their spiritual journey. And illimitables, loving kindness and compassion and sympathetic joy and equanimity. These are also very famous, what we call Brahma Vihara. So loving kindness is infinite, like immeasurable compassion, loving kindness. You don't have any labeling when it comes to loving kindness. It is everywhere when it comes to loving kindness. You don't have a limitation, you don't have discrimination against certain community, certain religion, or certain group. It is common to all sentient beings, all breathing things, everyone and everything. So it is all inclusive. So that is what we call metta, or loving kindness. And compassion is called karuna. So that is paradukhe sati hadayang kampe titi karuna. That is, when you see someone is suffering, then your heart feels that vibration, you sense it, and that is called karuna. When you see someone suffering, you want to help, you feel pity for that person, you want to help that person, and that is called karuna. And remember, loving kindness is for everyone, but compassion is for suffering beings. And even more challenging one is mudita, that is sympathetic joy. And when somebody is happier, it is not so easy to, you know, be happy about that person. Normally, people, um, average people would feel like maybe jealous of such people. So when somebody is happy, you should be also happier. And that is why it is a sympathetic joy. And if you can be happier when others are happy, that is such a beautiful practice. These are all mental culture. Uh, they are they cannot come to you like overnight. You should practice and you should keep improving yourself. When the others are happier, you become happy. And some people say like, okay, this person is richer because maybe he has done some wrong business, or maybe he has earned the money in the wrong way and he is corrupt, and he or she, so they try to give some lame excuses to that person and don't want to see the happiness of others. And that is really amazing. And even today we also see even compassion is like leaving humanity. Like some people don't even want to help, let's say, homeless people. And someone, if someone wants to give something, help some those people, another one would say, don't help him, he is taking drugs. So if you use them, if you help them, maybe he will be more using more and more drugs. And so trying to maybe discourage. And so when it comes to karuna, you only think of someone else's uh, misery, and you help them, and you don't want to follow up whether he is eating or drinking or taking drinks and drugs or whatever. It's up to him. In your case, what you have to do is you need to practice that, and as long as you do it, I should be okay. And then mudita, when somebody else is happier, maybe smarter than you, maybe more looking more handsome or prettier than you, more educated than you, maybe so just look at him and or her, and think that they have done so much good karma in their samsara, and they also have done so much hard work, sincere effort, and so they are doing well. Be happy with that. Just like we said yesterday, like Wordsworth said, a bliss of solitude, or when the others are happier, like when the flowers are dancing, when the waves are dancing, when the breathing, when the breeze, the cooling breeze is dancing, playing music for you, just be happy, just be a part of that party, and that way you can also become very happy and healthy eventually. These can be very toxic. Like if you don't have karuna, if you don't have mudita, that can be, that can kill you eventually. Inside they are like poison trees growing inside you, and you don't have karuna and you don't have mudita. That can be very deadly, dangerous things. So be careful and mindful about how we can improve, how we can recognize these things. And the other thing is the equanimity, even more challenging part. And equanimity is upekha. What's happening here? We all have ups and downs in our life, and so we don't get carried away by them. Sometimes we are happier, and let's say you get good results, and so you are so happy, and let's say you get bad results, you are so sad. And what happens here, eventually your inner peace is disturbed. And so in your extreme happiness, people do some weird things, and when they are extreme sad, they also do weird things. If they can let it go and be not being carried away by whatever happens around, that will be the challenge, that will be more important, especially when it comes to the jhanic stages. Equanimity is a powerful stage. They are all actually important. And I will quickly introduce and let's discuss more. And for feeling, perception, feeling of loathsomeness about food, ahare particular sanya. So when you eat food, you have to, this is about meditation, this is about the real practice. So the food, of course, you enjoy the food, but the practitioner, they look at the things in a different way. Like when the food goes deep down, it will become, they can feel and also see how they mixing with all the saliva and goes inside, and it is just the food. And you don't marginalize food, you don't categorize food, you don't have any favoritism for food. Whatever you get, just to survive the body, you eat it. That is the practice of the monks. And maybe I can share with you. Let me check. I should have that actually. Okay, I got it. Okay. This is the practice that the monks do. Um, this is called Pachavikana, contemplation on alms food. And before taking food, the monks would recite this. Patisankha yoniso pindapadang patisevami nevadavaya namadaya namandanaya navibhusanaya yavadeva imassa kayassa thitiya yapanaya vihingsuparatiya brahmacharyanuggahaya iti puranancha vedanang patihankami navancha vedanang na upadisami yatra cha me bhavisati anavajyata cha bhasu viharo chati. Sherry, can you read the translation, please?
Considering it thoughtfully, I use alms food, not playfully, nor for intoxication, nor for putting on bulk, nor for beautification, but simply for the survival and continuance of this body, for ending its afflictions, for the support of the holy life. Thus I will destroy old feelings and of hunger and not create new feelings from overeating. I will maintain myself, be blameless, and live in comfort.
Okay, that is that is a practice. We do it actually on daily basis. Every single time we take food, we have to recite that Patisankha yoniso pindapatang patisevami.
We do the food meditation at Maba
Oh,
with meals.
you use this one?
It's very similar. It's translated slightly different, but yes.
Okay, yeah. So you take the food just to survive and not to purify. Okay, nice. Okay, I think we can, after this 40 some other things, we can discuss a little bit more. Chatudhatu Vavatthana or analysis. This is the other one. This one. Analysis. Vavatthana, this is the analysis on 4 elements. And this is Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, the 4 elements. And then 4 immaterial jhanas, Arupa or Arupa, infinity of space, and then infinity of consciousness, nothingness, and neither perception nor non-perception. So infinity of space is Akasananchayatana, Akasa, the sky. And infinity of consciousness, Vijnana, Vijnanancha Ayatana, Vijnanang Chayatana. Nothingness, emptiness, Akinchanyayatana. That's also a practice at these arupa jhana, or when you practice these things, these will also generate different energy levels. And neither perception nor non-perception, neva sanya na sanyayatana, even more to do with uh, arupa jhana, and especially equanimity or upekka will be the dominant factor here. And suitability of subjects for different temperaments, um, suitability of subjects, lustful temperaments, raga charita people, they have 10 impurities and mindfulness on body. So if you recognize your temperament, these are the meditation objects for you. Okay. And you already know the 10 impurities, right? This is the 10 impurities that we were talking about. And then about the body parts, uh, mindfulness on body. It's important. And let's say like a raga charita person, even like when they start, if you are dominated by raga, and if you start practicing on metta, okay, let's say you practice on metta, and then you think of your wife or think of your husband, and then your mind goes away with that. You are like carried away by these things. So it is recommended that they don't do it. Yeah, these things can happen to raga dominated people. So they are actually given, rather than doing that, focus on these impurities and mindfulness on body. Even our own body, we try to decorate, beautify, valorize our own body, and then you think of those body parts, and if you practice on this, it will not happen to you that way, just like that. And suitability of subjects for different, this is about the hateful um, temperament. For hateful temperaments, four illimitables, the apamanya, or those metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, for Brahma Viharas are very important. And then this kasina, colored kasina, blue color, yellow color, red color, and white color, they are also very helpful for the dosa charita people. They are some of the meditation objects that they can use. And then for unintelligent people, or moha charita people, and also for discursive temperament, vitaka charita people, mindfulness on breathing, very helpful. Very helpful that you can work on improving your meditation, because some people cannot meditate on all these meditation objects. And actually anapanasati is also a very common meditation. It can be applied by many, but especially for these moha charita and vitaka charita people, anapanasati is a very good one. And then saddha charita. Oh, this is saddha charita. Saddha charita people, a reflection on the Buddha, reflection on the Dhamma, reflection on the Sangha, and reflection on morality. They are very helpful. So in the West, we also sometimes we teach meditation to non-Buddhist people. So one time I was teaching this meditation to uh, some people, and I I said, okay, if you are a Christian, you can maybe focus, reflect on the Buddha, but you have the devout temperament. So think of the Jesus. If you are maybe a Hindu person, think of any favorite uh, deity or deva that you really pay respect to. And or if you are a Muslim, maybe you can think of someone um, whom you are very comfortable with, maybe Muhammad or whatever, whosoever you feel more comfortable with that. And maybe if you are not um, having any religion, uh, atheist or whatever, so you can also think of your someone who is so respectable to you, like a teacher, or there are some you feel so comfortable, community leader that you really pay respect to. You can think of them as well. And reflection on the Dhamma is Dhammanusati. It's about the teaching, the doctrine. And Sangha, the Dhamma itself is so powerful when you think of that. And of course, when it comes to the Buddha Anusati, you think of actually 9 virtues of the Buddha. Itipiso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho. There are 9 virtues of the Buddha, like uh, Arahang is the worthiness, like of the Buddha. Like Arahang means he is worthy of being respected. He also has um, deleted or eradicated all defilements, and even in secret, the Buddha would never ever do anything in wrong. So that is also a meaning in the word araha. Raha means like secret. So araha, even in secret, they wouldn't do anything wrong. Buddhanusati, when you think of that wonderful, noble quality of the Buddha, so you keep practicing on that one quality. And then later on, you can practice on other qualities as well. And that will become Buddhanusati. And in Dhammanusati, we also have Swakato, Bhagavata, Dhammo, Sanditthiko, Akaliko, Ehipasiko, Opanaiko, Pachatang, Veditabbo, Vinyohiti. So there are some qualities of the Dhamma. When it comes to the Sangha, in the Suparipanno, like of good conduct is the disciples of the Blessed One, and of that is Supatipanno, and then Ujupatipanno of upright conduct is the disciples of the community of the Blessed One, and of dutiful conduct, of wise conduct. So they also have many wonderful conduct. So think of those beautiful qualities. And also we know, like yesterday we learned about Aryas and Anarias. So Arya is the noble, Anarya is the noble. Means Arya means those who have achieved Sotapanna Maggaphala, Sakadagami Maggaphala, Anagami Maggaphala, and Arahanta Maggaphala. They are Aryas, and the rest are just Anaryas. And so all those Sangha members, when it comes to that contemplation or reflection on the Sangha, these eightfold Aryas are definitely being reflected on. Wonderful Sariputta, um, Arahanta Sariputta, and Moggallana, and Rahula, Ananda, Nanda, all the Sivali, Angulimala, all those wonderful, wonderful monks. Even if you think of one single Arahant monk, or even bhikkhunis like Mahapajapati, Yasodhara, Khema, Uppalavanna, they are such wonderful theories, Arahant nuns, and they are noble virtues. Qualities are really, really amazing. So reflecting on those noble qualities can become a wonderful meditation. And sila, again, is good for Saddha Charita people. Definitely, it's very helpful. Like you focus on your own sila. How I have practiced this thing, and even little things are very important in life. So sila anusati is also good for Saddha Charita people. And then we have suitability of subject for different temperaments, reflection on the Buddha, uh, and what is our time? Okay. Yeah, reflection on the Buddha. Uh, this is devout charita. Okay, intelligent temperament, buddhi charita people. So for them, reflection on death is a good one. Marananusati. These intelligent people always, they don't like those saddha and all those things. They want to do something really different. Also, upasamanusati is a good one for them. And sanya anusati, ahare, particular sanya, also is a good one for them. And analysis, vavatthana, that is reflecting on the four elements. Um, Again, good thing for these intelligent people, buddhi charita people. Um, Even I think intelligent people, maybe dosa charita people, they like some sour food. Maybe raga charita people like sweet food. So they also have different food uh, interests, different suitability of subjects for different temperaments. These are all temperaments. Like all charita people can practice earth, water, fire, air, and they are also good for everyone. Um, and stages of mental cover, um, parikama bhavana, attainable in all 40 subjects of meditation. And so if you take any of these 40 subjects, you can have the preliminary stage for sure. And remember, not all the 40 kammatthana can help you achieve arahanthood. Some of them can actually go through to a certain extent only. And proximate mental culture, for example, can be attained in Buddhanusati, Dhammanusati, Sanghanusati, Silanusati, Chaganusati, Devatanusati, Upasamanusati, Marananusati, and then two sanyas, like Ahare, particular sanya, and Chatudhatu Avattana. So if you practice on these, there is actually a limited progress for you, but they are important for certain temperaments. Um, when you practice that, later you can switch. When you are progressing, of course, later you can switch from samatha to vipassana. That also is pretty possible, but you need to do this thing initially, depending on your temperament. And then kasinas, 10 kasinas, and anapanasati can be helpful to achieve five jhanas. So you can see these are powerful practices. And if you want to achieve only first jhana, 10 asubhas and kaya gata sati, like the raga charita people practice these things, they can achieve first jhana. And later, of course, you can switch to others. And also metta, karuna, and mudita, they can achieve uh, four jhanas. And upekka, fifth jhana. Upekka is equanimity, definitely the last one. And then Rupa jhanas can be attainable in all the above 26 subjects of mental culture that we just discussed. And Arupa jhanas can be attainable in formless objects. And then we also have, I think, more things to discuss about that. I think we can almost done. And then we come to discussion. Preliminary sign, parikamma nimitta, that again is important. And uggaha nimitta is something that you also, after preliminary sign, you will get more into that uggaha nimitta or abstract sign. That will be a good indication of your progress. We will discuss more in our discussion. Conceptualized image is patibhaga nimitta. This can be obtained in cussiness, impurities, parts of body, and breathing. So this is science of mental culture, what we call gochara bheda. And patibhaga nimitta develops proximate one-pointedness, so upachara samadhi, and ecstatic one-pointedness, so appana samadhi. And patibhaga nimitta, I think it is the same, yes. So for now, we can come back to the discussion. Any questions?
Okay, I had a couple of questions if you have time.
Yes.
So I remember Buddha, when he first went to Alarakalama and Uttakarama Buddha, they had certain jhana states, jhana developments, and Buddha recognized that they have a limitation, and if Buddha stays with them, he's not going to achieve the final goal. I wonder if you could maybe refresh all of us on that a little bit. I can't remember the exact jhanas they had, but I know for a fact someone had Nevasanna, Nyasannayatana, maybe something along those lines.
So that means they also had jhanic levels. They were very powerful practitioners already. So Buddha, before becoming Buddha, he was what we call ascetic Gautama. He was just a practitioner, very open heart, like trying to learn. You know, you are a learner, and you're welcoming everyone. So he went from royal palace to the jungle. That jungle was his university. You know, that's where he did his BA, MA, and PhD. Everything he did under the trees and with the jungle, all the birds and the snakes and the other jungle animals, and he learned many things. And he met two teachers. First, Alar Kalama. And when he went to Alar Kalama was having a good reputation to be a wonderful meditation master. So he went there and he taught him some meditation. And that meditation was helpful to gain some jhanic levels only. And ascetic Gautama already was very sincere, very smart. He could achieve that in a few days' time, you know. And then after achieving his all those powerful meditation, and then he said, do you have anything else? No, that's it. You know, this is the end. Oh, that's it. Then he said, oh, you are very smart. You know, we can combine together. We can work together. We can help more students. Let's make a company. And so ascetic Siddhartha decided, I have come
leaving behind my wife and my family and everyone, and not for this. Definitely not for this. This is not the end all and be all. There should be many more things for me to do. And I really appreciate your kindness and generosity, and really appreciate, and I would like to go ahead and see more, because his objective was to, the four signs. Do you remember the four signs? What were the four signs?
Old man, sick person, a dead body, and a ascetic, I guess.
So he wanted to get rid of old age. He wanted to get rid of sickness. He wanted to get rid of death. And Alarakalama's teaching will not stop him getting sick, will not get him getting old, or will not stop him dying. He knew that. So he wanted to see. It's really like, maybe some people would say it's crazy, how can you do that? But those extraordinary people, they had their own ways. They have their own thoughts, their own vision and mission. He was so determined, and he would go ahead, leaving behind that wonderful teacher he met. Alaraka. He didn't think of a moment, okay, I should leave because this is not the end for me. He was happy. He would also looking forward to other teacher. Then he saw uh, Uddaka Ramaputta was even more powerful a teacher, and he could achieve up to neva sanya na sanyayatana, neither perception nor non-perception. And that is one of the highest meditation achievers in contemporary India. And he had a lot of students. And I found a very fascinating actually video on life of the Buddha. It's really beautiful, and that video shows and how when ascetic Gautama goes there, and a disciple of Uddaka Ramaputta says, "Oh, my master is meditating up there in the mountain, but he will interview you before you entering his premises. He wouldn't even consider you as his student uh, unless you pass the interview." So that's really beautiful. I really like the idea. You know what they do? He goes, the ascetic Gautama goes in front of him and he sits. So they are both sitting face to face, and they don't talk a word. No word, they just practice. So in mind, it is the psychic or telepathical communication that they do. That's amazing. Maybe that's the way they learn from each other. And already ascetic Gautama has achieved some jhana. Very easily he could do that. And he could also practice very easily with Uddaka Ramaputta's technique. He learned it quite faster, and he asked, "Is that all? Do you have anything else on the plate?" He said, "No, that's it. This is what I learned, and this is the end. You are so wonderful, very smart. We can combine, we can divide our students. Let's work together to help more people." And Sati Gautama says, "No, no, no way. This is not my mission. I have to go more. I have to find something more than that." That's how he went beyond that. And then he found his own practice, Majjhima Patipada, middle path, and his Vipassana practices. All these things were, helpful to him. And remember, even he was practicing so hard At the beginning, he would even stop eating. Slowly, he would reduce his eating. And it is said, Pavatta Phala Bhojana, that means he would sit under the tree, whatever falls from the tree, he would eat. And then later on, maybe a leaf, maybe a fruit. That was such penances that he was undergoing. What we call Dukkara Kriya or Dushkara Kriya, ultimate penances. Sometimes when he saw people coming, he would run away from them. In Mahaparinibbana Sutta says that the ascetic Gautama would run away from people. Why? Because he was worrying these people would give him some food. So he would run away from people. He didn't want to eat. He didn't want to communicate with people. He wanted to practice more and more and more and more. His only intention, only objective, only mission was to achieve immortality. you know, not getting sick, not getting old. How to find a solution to that? Just like yesterday we were talking about those Taoist practitioners, like longevity practitioners. They found gunpowder. So these are amazing again. So eventually he achieved his final goal, liberation.
I do have follow-up questions, but I don't know if people are like probably looking for a break and they're probably like, yeah, stop talking. We can take a break maybe.
Taking a break.
I do have follow-up questions, so I just wanted to see if I don't know what others want to take a break maybe, and I don't know. If not, I'll ask questions. I have a ton of questions today, so I bottled up all my questions from yesterday, and I'm going to ask everything today.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
So there's a correlation between one of the Arupa Vachara Bhumis, immortal planes. There are Nivasannayatanas, the Akinchanayatanas, and all those higher status of jhana states. And I also find the correlation between the planes of existence from the cosmological point of view and the highest state of mind, the jhanic state, which I don't think is accidental. I feel like, I think we touched upon it yesterday, the mind is the hell and the heaven ultimately. It's not, the goal is not to go to heaven ultimately. I mean, of course, no one wants to go to hell, definitely, hopefully not, but everyone wants to go to heaven. But I think the whole point here is, this is not about, let me do a lot of good things to go to heaven next life. This is a goal about, can I achieve that high level of mind state so I can end the suffering, hopefully this round, if not in 7 rounds, or in 1 round, or in none round. So I thought I'd it's just a comment, it's not a question, but I do see the correlation between the Aropa Vachara Bhumi, what is this? This is the Brahma realm, formless Brahma realm, right? So it's like the highest level.
Yeah.
And jhanic state where people are so, I've come across people where they are like, I want to do magic, that's why I meditate. I'm like, you are probably you can do magic ultimately, but I don't think that's the goal here. It's not to show magic to others. So that's probably the wrong intention, and you're probably going to get stuck there. So I just wanted to, I thought I'd make that comment here.
So actually, yes, Toshita is exposed to Buddhism from a traditional background. So he probably knows a little bit more, and really appreciate your question.
You're being too kind. So you're being very kind. I am exposed to Buddhism, but I don't think I'm a Buddhist. Personally, I think I'm rediscovering Buddhism in the last 4 or 5 years.
Nice.
Because I think the way we were exposed to Buddhism back in Sri Lanka, it's just, okay, read this, study this, take the exam. Read this, study this, take the exam. That's what I did. And I'm good at taking exams, obviously. I never understood what I'm learning. Now I'm rediscovering Buddhism in a completely different perspective, and it has been fascinating to say the least. But I do appreciate your kindness. You're too kind.
Um, so I think many people in some traditional Buddhist countries, they think when you do good things, like maybe you go to the temple, and so uh, you have some spot in heaven that is guaranteed for you. So like you offer a flower and thinking of a flower garden in the heaven. And so you always expect something, more, much more. You give a little bit and expecting so much in return. So maybe, yes, that can be a trap. That can be a trap that that is not right view. That is not right view. Uh, the lay people, as Dr. Jacobs also asked yesterday, for lay people, we can get rid of all these bondage we have, so it's not so easy. So how do we do? That is why Buddha said, at least he wanted people not to go to hell. He preached the Dhamma for people to go to heaven at least. That will rescue them from some. Maybe when you do it, you keep doing good. Eventually you find, oh, this is just, so not so important. We have a better vision, better mission. Uh, Final goal is different. But for some people, if you don't give some reward, if you don't give some certificate, if you don't give some credit, they are not interested. Now, for example, I created some Quizlets, Quizlet lessons. If I don't give you any credit, you might not be interested in doing that. Right? If I say, this is mandatory, you have to do it, you will get some credit. Or you will all do it, like day and night you will do it. Same thing. Like when we do good things, people say, oh, you give and then you gain. You do good thing, you will gain something in return. So that is just I think sugar coated language, just to motivate other people, that even the Buddha would do it. Even many spiritual practitioners would do it. Hey, you practice it, you gain a goal. This is the reward that you can achieve. So keep doing it. But their intention is not to stop them in heaven or in the Brahma realm. It will take long time from your sansaric habits to, break the shackle. It's not so easy. It takes time. But eventually you should be able to do that. And so when you keep, for example, when you keep doing, like giving, dana is a wonderful practice, especially in Asia. They are so good in giving things. They would give many, many things. And so they enjoy. And some people, they think when they give, they gain much in return. As I mentioned, a spot is guaranteed in the heaven. That's what they think. And so many things they are motivated. But the more you do it, you know, the more happier you becomes, and your final goal, your intention can be different, can be changed. So it's important that you keep doing it, and eventually you will see, you will feel, you will also listen to the Dhamma, you will also have a lot of teachers, wonderful teachers to learn, and eventually you see, oh, this is not the right view, I have to go beyond that. Dana, Sila, Bhavana, Nekkhamma, all these letting go, Upekka, Panya, all these things, can eventually come to you. So keep doing something is better than nothing, at least. So it's important. Okay, so maybe let's take a 5-10 minutes break, and then we'll come back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, interesting topic. We learn many things from you guys.
You never know what you're gonna get when you come into this room.
Yeah. So going forward with our discussion, and also maybe we can discuss little more about some more things like Abhinya, the mystic powers, or some other things, whatever you find interesting. And out of the topics that we have covered today, um, we would like to keep the discussion live. I would like to invite Dr. Jacobs. Maybe we will discuss a little bit more about the temperaments, right? Can be very helpful too. Yeah, Sherry, do you have a question?
I am wondering how the colored casinas help the dosa charita. I mean, the rest of them make a lot of sense to me, but I'm wondering how color meditations would help with the dosa personality.
Dr. Jacobs, do you want to say something? Oh,
Actually, I don't know where I got this, but the idea that I have here is that it's kind of a contemplation on, with the illimitables and the colors, it's like a contemplation on pure goodness and pure beauty.
So they're really looking at the color and seeing it, and probably it's something that does not have, maybe it does not have so many attachments to them as other things might have, so they can see it more clearly, the color.
Interesting. That's an interesting take on it. I think that makes sense
Yeah.
because the color is almost like a neutral thing, but also color affects us so deeply
Mhm.
too. When you immerse in nothing but color, but without contour, it doesn't have meaning you can attach. There's a kind of
Mhm.
purity to it. That's
Yeah,
it.
you
thank
know,
you.
the Buddha even
I think your internet connection is unstable, or mine is.
No, I hear he's breaking up. Now I don't hear him at all.
No, he disappeared.
He's going to have to rejoin. Should we admit him?
Only if your grade is important to you.
So, Dr. Jacobs, since we're kind of on signs, can I ask a question about where does the preliminary sign, the learning sign, the counterpoint sign, and the change of lineage moment, where does that fit in with the signs that we talked about before? Because I didn't see them listed in the 4 types of signs.
I'm going to bounce that one to Bante, if that's okay. You're muted, but I think you're here.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so what is the question again, please?
So I am wondering, of the 4 signs we talked about, I didn't see the sequence of, well, I guess the preliminary sign is there, but then the learning sign, there's something specifically referenced as a learning sign and a counterpoint sign, and then the change of lineage moment.
Yeah. So in the 3 signs, the preliminary sign and the abstract sign generally obtain in every case according to the object. And so as we mentioned, the kasinas, the impurities and parts of the body and breathing. And then with the conceptualized image, the proximate one-pointedness and the ecstatic, this is Upachara Samadhi and Appana Samadhi develop. How it happens, I think there is a, maybe I will read this out for you. Um, Whatever object amongst the earth casinas and so forth a beginner takes to practice meditation is called a preliminary sign, and that meditation is preliminary mental culture. When that sign is perceived by the mind and enters the mind door as if seen by the very physical eye, then it is called the abstract sign. That meditation becomes well established. Likewise, when a counter image born of meditation, freed from original defects, reckoned as a concept, is well established and fixed in the mind of one who is well composed and who thereafter practices meditation on the abstract sign by means of preliminary concentration, then it is said that the conceptualized image has arisen. You can see now science of mental culture is a gradual progress, and you have to keep practicing on these things, and then you can see how they appear and establish. Just for example, like let's say like you practice anapanasati, and then maybe something white spot or something you will see, and then you keep working on that, and sometimes this nimitta can also disappear, and it can appear again, and you do not practice with the intention of seeing the nimitta, because that might itself be a debacle. uh, so you just keep doing it, and when the right condition is there, the nimitta will be there too. And that nimitta, which is appearing and disappearing, and later on you will feel that the more you practice, the more clear it becomes. And with maybe starting with the very tiny little spot, it can grow bigger and bigger, and it can be like maybe overwhelming the whole body, maybe overwhelming the whole room that you meditate, and even much bigger for some people. They can even feel everywhere is so white and so bright and so, you know, illuminated, kind of. So, um, so that also appears and disappears. And later on, when you are so good in your practice, so every time you do it, you can easily get it. So there are actually 5 ways to improve those things. This is called jhana vasita. Jhana vasita means um, you are well in control of your jhana. Anytime you come and go with the jhana. There is one Burmese monk. I think he is still alive in Burmese border, India-Burmese border. And that monk, actually, I heard from a meditation teacher that I met in Big Bear Meditation Center when I went for a 10 days retreat. And he said that monk is just a simple monk, but he can meditate for 24 hours at a stretch. He takes a simple breakfast, and then he sits for meditation. He wakes up in the morning, the following morning from meditation. No food, no sleep, nothing, just meditating. And for him, it's going to all those jhanas is just a fraction of a second. He is so well versed in that version. So there are, I heard like some of those the soldiers, maybe the border security forces, and even the tribal groups, like maybe like fighting each other. They also come and they pay respect to him as well. Yeah, there are some situations like that.
where do we find the 5 ways to build the concentration or the nimitta? Is there a sutta or
Ah,
some?
yes. Let me see. Let me see the page number. I can say it's in the book. We have jhana thought process. Yeah. Nam Gotrabu Appana. That is called jhana vasita. I know the Pali word. Let me check the exact location. Um, okay, I'll get back to that. Okay.
Is this Bhikkhu Bodhi's book?
Yeah, Bhikkhu Narada's book.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Reflection on different constitutes of jhana. Samapajjana. This is page number 453. Narada book. Samapajjana, the ability to attain to different jhanas quickly. Aditthana, the ability to remain in the jhanas as long as one likes. And Vuttana, the ability to emerge from the jhanas as quickly as possible. And Pachavekana is similar to Avajjana. And, like sometimes people feel like scared. When some people see the light, the nimitta, they feel scared. And so they easily can get distracted. And some people, let's say like you are like levitating or something like yesterday we saw, people can get scared, quite traumatized
I
maybe.
guess so.
Yeah, that also shows your Sakkaya Ditthi, your fear factor. And then, yeah, those things. So when they are well in control of the situation, the jhana, that is anytime you can come out of the jhana also is possible. And one time Venerable Sariputta was in Nirodha Samapatti. Okay. He and Venerable Moggallana, they were meditating somewhere in a, maybe, in a jungle. They would sit and meditate. And then there appeared a monster, a demon. um, that monster demon, he saw the monk sitting comfortably, and he was meditating, and he was so tempted to knock on his head. The monster, he really made it so hard on his head, on Venerable Sariputta's head, it is said. And Venerable Moggallana overheard that. Venerable Sariputta didn't even feel it, because he was in deep jhana, deep samadhi. It is said actually he had a very powerful bad karma, the monster. And then Venerable Moggallana asked, "How was your meditation?" "How was your meditation? I heard the sound. Was it okay?" So Venerable Sariputta then only realized there was something on his head, but it didn't bother him. Just maybe like a mosquito bite, something. But it would have been a very different scenario if it was any other person. So in jhanic level, their body also is more preserved, and you cannot harm them by fire or water or whatever. Have you seen a Thai monk boiling himself in the water while practicing? Yeah, that's amazing. Like he is in a bowl and it's all fire everywhere, and the water is boiling and he's meditating. Yeah. So in the jhanic level, I think actually they are not for demonstration purpose. It's not meant for that. Also one time, the Buddha actually, he was very, very harsh against those demonstrations. He said, don't do those demos just to gain your cheap popularity or something. And he said, if you do it, you will break a minor precept. Even he imposed a code of conduct for that. And then so the other heretics, they were taking advantage of that situation. And then they said, I am a powerful one. I also have those mystic powers in me that I can. He had a pole, a tall pole, and then he had something on the top. He said, I can reach up to that, and I can. Yeah, I challenge anyone, all those monks. If they are ready to take the challenge, go take that. And then he would try himself, and then his disciples said, no, don't do that. So there's just a drama, pretending that he would go there, and the disciples were not allowing him to do that. Don't do that, it's not for you. Something like that. And it is said one monk, anyway, he passed by, he saw that, and he quickly went there. And he took it, and it was a big story. And then the Buddha actually said, don't do such things. It's not for um, gaining some popularity or something like that. Yeah, jhana. Interesting. So the people who practice jhana, abhinya, for example, like the iddhivida, those people can fly through the air, walking on water, diving into the earth, creation of forms, etc., belongs to this category. That is called iddhivida. Venerable Moggallana had those abilities to a very, very great extent. And Tibba Sota is the celestial ear that you can hear things, called clairaudience, which enables one to hear subtle or coarse sounds far or near. And yeah, that's also why the Buddha could communicate with the devas. This is my personal opinion. I felt like Buddha had those discussions with the devas silently, just telepathically. It could well be the case, I felt. And they would sit, face to face. They wouldn't say any word. Maybe in their meditation, they would talk to each other. And then later, Buddha translated that to Venerable Ananda, his Dhamma treasurer. And then Venerable Ananda recited those in the first council. The first, for example, Mahamangala Sutta, it is a Devang me sutang ekang samayang bhagava savathyang viharati jetavane anatha pindikasa arame athako anyatara devata. So one time, one deva came, and he came illuminating the air, Kevala Kappan Jetavanang Obhasetva, illuminating the entire Jetavana monastery. He landed there, and then he paid respect. Ekamantang Athasi, Ekamantang Nisinnoko, Titako sa Devata Bhagavantang Gathaya Ajibasi. He, having sat there, he asked a question from the Buddha, and that is about the mangala, the auspicious factors. People say auspicious things, and some people say the first thing you see is the auspicious. Some people say the first thing you hear is the auspicious. Some people say the first thing you touch is the auspicious. Now we have so many things like that, right? Like birds, like when you hear a certain sound of a bird's crying or something, oh, it's an inauspicious, you should not go out. You should stop your journey, maybe you postpone it. And then yeah, so yeah, people don't like black cats. And I remember, like, some people say, like, if your car knocks a cat or something, you should sell the car immediately. It's so bad omen. And also some people say if you see a single bird or something, it's not good. And many things are there. So they think it is auspicious, inauspicious. So the Buddha gave 38 Mangala factors in the Mangala Sutta. Asevanacha Balanang in the number 1. Asevanacha Balanang. Do not associate with lower friends. Do not associate with lower friends. Bala means fools. Panditanancha Sevana, associate with good friends, wise friends, always very important. So starts with that point. Asevana cha balanang, panditanang cha sevana, puja cha pujaniyan, respect those who are worthy of being respected. And etam mangalam uttama, this is a good mangala factor. And so he keeps on talking about taking care of your parents, mata pitu pathanang, and many other things are talking to the devas. And he was talking about these things to the devas, and they were all more actually helpful to the humans as well. Eventually it is said the final liberation with the final what do you call mangala factor. So Dibbasota, as I mentioned, is the capacity to listen to things that are far away from our reach as average humans. Right now we have telephone. It's kind of Dibbasota, right? And now I talk from Los Angeles. You can hear from anywhere in the world. You can see it's also amazing. But without any of these technology or whatever, any external gadgets, if we can still do it, that is the mind power, much more powerful than anyone can think of it. And Parachitta Vijanana is the power to discern the thoughts of others. Parachitta Vijanana. So they can read the other's mind. They can know the other's mind. So interesting. Pubbe Nivasa Anusati means, Pubbe means earlier, Nivasa means your dwelling, or Anusati means contemplation, reflection. You can reflect, you can remember the previous births. Power to remember the past lives of oneself and others. You can remember yourself. You can also see others' past births. This is the first supernormal vision the Buddha developed during the first watch of the night. He attained enlightenment. With regard to this knowledge, the Buddha's power is limitless, while in the case of others, it is limited. So Buddha could, maybe an eon ago, who was sleep pattern an eon ago. So for us, if we practice, if we develop master this Dibba Pubbe Nivasanusati. So we have to go one by one. It would take so long. Maybe, you can of course go a little faster, but it would take so long depending on your capacity. But the Buddha could say, do it right away. Okay, an year ago, you were there. This was your name. This was your family members. You can say, he could say, this was your name. All these things can be um, remembered. That is the power of Pubbe Nivasanusati. Dibba Chaku is the celestial or divine eye. Dibba is heavenly or divine. Chaku is eye. So, also called clairvoyance. Enables one to see heavenly or earthly things far or near, which are imperceptible to the physical eye. Of course, we cannot see the devas and we cannot see the other, other celestial beings or brahmas. We cannot see with our human eye. It is the spiritual eye, the mental eye that we need to improve, develop. That is called Dibba Chaku. So for them, it is possible to see things. And for them, sometimes, it is good that we don't see them. Imagine you see like hungry ghost or something. um, you are not trained to do that. It's good that we don't hear the sounds of those horrible sufferings that those sentient beings undergo. Imagine you hear them, it will be uh, very painful. You cannot bear it. You are not trained to bear it. So the practitioners, they need to practice it. They need to be trained to bear such things and also to see such things. Even the maybe the shining, that resplendent shining aura of the devas can also maybe blind you, if you see through your naked eye. And it is the training, the power through the spiritual mental practice that you can bear with it, and you can communicate them. You can see such subtle things through your eye, and you can hear also. So Chutu Upapata is Chuti Upapata, knowledge with regard to the dying and reappearing of beings. So Chuti, he could see, a lot of sentient beings are dying and again born. So appearing and reappearing is identical with the celestial eye. And so that's uh, another Iddhivida or supernatural powers. These 5 kinds of supernatural visions are worldly. To these should be added the 6th supernatural knowledge called Asavakkaya Jnana, knowledge with regard to the extinction of passions, which is supramundane. So those 5, like the Iddhivida, like ability to flying through the air and walking across the walls, or like immersing in the earth, just like you immerse in the water. Those are called Iddhivida. Dibbasota is the clear audience. Parachitta Vijanana is the mind reading of others. And Pubbe Nivasanusati is the ability to look into yourself and others' past lives. And Dibba Chaku is the celestial or divine eye or clairvoyance. And Chutupapata is the ability to see sentient beings dying and being born. So these are the 5. Asavakkaya Jnana happens when someone achieves the arahanthood, liberation. So they also get that knowledge. That is definitely a supernatural knowledge. Again, supernormal power. These 5 kinds may be developed at any period, but the last one only during Buddha cycle. So all of us can achieve the five of those mystic powers if needed. Maybe some people can find it very fascinating. Some really want to maybe uh, look into those things. Maybe discuss with some deva. uh, yes.
You said if needed. I thought as we progressed, these attainments came to us.
Yeah. So
if that kind of attainment we may not need, but it comes to us anyway, is clarify.
But you have to practice. I mean, let's say like you want to achieve Dibbasota, and then you have to improve that ability. For some, they can, by default, maybe they can get all of them very clear, lucidly clear with all of them. But some arahants, they don't. They don't have these abilities. For example, Venerable Chakkupala, remember the eye surgeon I talked about last time? And he blinded a lady. And then because of that, 500 times he was blind. And at the last birth, he also achieved arahanthood and blindness together. And then he could not see, he did not have these powers. They are called Sukha Vipassaka, dry insight practitioners. Like they are also liberated. They don't have those like ability to fly through the air or these things. But many arahants, they have that. Many arahants, they don't show it, but they have it. Sometimes those days there was one a mountain called Isigili mountain. That is interpreted as Ising Gilatiti Isigili. Isi is the saint, Gilati is to devour. So what they did actually, those saints, they would fly through the air and land on that. So it looks like from far, the mountain is devouring those, swallowing those saints. So that mountain was called Isigili. And then there is another place in Varanasi, India, that is called Isipatana. Ising patati isipatana. That means those practitioners in the Himalayas, when they practice and when they need some food, they would land there. So they see Isipatana. It's like the airport. That is the airports of the Isis. That is the city where they can come and have some food. Whenever they want, they come. They don't come often. They would come, but people would see them from far, like they are landing. That's called Isipatana. Interesting, but this, this can be still there.
So it's not necessary to achieve, particular attainments.
Yeah, some people really, some people think, I don't want, all these things. I just want liberation. That's it. So it's up to you. Like some people want, like when you want to buy a car, you want so many features attached to that, right? You need navigation, you need automatic or semi-automatic or whatever. You want to add those features, you buy it. Some people, I don't need any of this. I just want a car. That's it. Right? Same thing. So even in your sansaric paramitas, if you think, I am not interested in any of these, I just want liberation. I want to get rid of this sansara. That's it. I don't want this dibba chakku, dibba sota. No. But some people would be otherwise. They want everything. A perfect everything, which can also make sense. Like let's say like you want to buy a house, you want everything complete. It's not wrong. Actually, it's also very good. In fact, you live
Not
your life.
necessarily they're overachievers either.
Yeah.
They want it all. So I see that as kind of a craving and a grasping. I want this third jhana. I want to do this.
Mhm.
Maybe that's not a right view.
It's not a right view, and actually it delays. It delays you getting jhana because you are so attached to that. Like you're waiting for the nimitta. Where is nimitta? Like it doesn't come to you just like that. You keep practicing without anything. Like, why do we meditate? We want to get rid of things, right? And then you are yearning, wishing for things. It doesn't make sense. You are meditating to liberate yourself, not to get hold of something. Oh, I got like this, and I got this, and I got that. Nothing to do with that. It's absolute peace and happiness. Even happiness, you don't want to expect later on. That is only upekka, nothing, just equanimity. So, having said that, the all jhanic practices are really, really wonderful, must say. Anyone who can achieve even first jhana, they are really, really, really wonderful. So much better than any of us can imagine, because that power is so important. Like their concentration level and their purity, they don't have, they can, anytime they can suppress those five jhanic factors. You know the five jhanic factors? Do you know the five hindrances? Do you know the five hindrances? Kama, chanda, vyapada, thina, midha, uddhacha, kukkucha, vichikicha. More familiar with the Pali. So kama, chanda is like the sensual desire, and vyapada is the ill will, and uddhacha, kukkucha is the restlessness, and then also which thina, midha. We all have this one. Thina is the mental, bodily laziness, and mental laziness. So these two lethargies can be harming us. In our progress. So I practice meditation, let's say, like, okay, I practice now 30 minutes, enough. I want to get up, enough. I'm like having pain, I should stop. Or you also try to, or not today, maybe tomorrow. It's a rainy day, I should sleep. I ate a lot, maybe I'm so full I cannot meditate. You try to give excuses and try to be lethargic. That is thina and midha. And uddhacha, kukucha is restlessness. Vichikicha is doubt, whether this is right or wrong, whether I was, who was I, whether I would do this thing or that thing. All those doubts will come to you, and doubt can also be a big debacle, big hindrance in your final goal. So those people who achieve first jhana, they have the power, practice, training to get rid of them, at least to a certain extent. So there are three layers of cutting down the defilement. One is called tadanga, like when you give a dana or something, you suppress your defilements temporarily. After dana, maybe you will be greedy again. You will be angry again. Those things can happen. But during that time, you are good. So like the more you do it, the more frequent your mind becomes, away from greediness, ill will, and ignorance. So it's good to practice more. And then vikambana, in the jhanic level, you suppress, you cut loose those defilements to a very greater extent. Your mind and your mind is really pure in that level, even though for a while. That's why those five jhanic vasita, as I said, you can go to jhana anytime, you can come out of jhana anytime. That means you are well in control of the situation. That's really amazing. And so the more you practice again, the more accomplished you become, and getting more closer to the final liberation. Easier for them, definitely easier for them. And then um, Uddacha Kukkucha Vichikiccha. Did I miss something?
Bante, I was thinking about the jhanic level. Isn't that something that you really have to find somebody to learn it and practice it from, practice together, or learn something how to achieve that level?
I think it is important to have a good teacher, because the teacher can help you. Teacher can recognize you, your temperament, and then also you can discuss your challenges. It's a very difficult roller coaster rider. So you have to really practice, and there will be challenges. Sometimes you get the nimitta, sometimes you don't get, and then you have to discuss with the teacher. And the teacher will tell you how to do that, and then you can go ahead and do that. But your determination, aditthana, is a paramita, uh, and your virya, effort, is a paramita. All these things are also very important. If you really determine to do that, you can. There is nothing impossible.
But how do we know where to find a good teacher?
Oh, there are good teachers actually. We know some good teachers too. In PAOK tradition in Myanmar, there is a monastery in the middle of the jungle, and in that headquarters, 500 kutis are there in the jungle. And people can practice there anytime. I mean, you have to get the reservation before. And so there are students that Pauk Sayadaw has trained. They can teach you up to fourth jhana, and they can train you, they can teach you up to achieving fourth jhana. And if you want to go up to arahanthood, you have to, of course, all these things will be interviewed by Pauk Sayadaw only. Venerable Pauk Sayadaw. He's a little old now, but he's amazing. And maybe for years you have to practice with him. And yeah, um, they are really wonderful. And there are practitioners, teachers like that. You keep searching, you will find. If you are interested in, no matter what, you Google them, maybe you search for those teachers, and you talk to people, that enthusiasm will bring more information, and then you will meet some really wonderful people, and you will get the connection. There are, the Buddha said, the arahants will not be gone in the world as long as the Dhamma is there and there are practitioners. As long as you practice the Dhamma, the world will not be empty of arahants. They will be there. But they will not show, okay, like I'm BA, MA, PhD, like they will not give those titles in the books and all. They will, it's also very important to see. I was really surprised. One day I saw a book in the library. I saw it was written by an Arahant so and so. I was like, what? And so arahants would not be highlighting or glorifying their name and fame, you know. They are, that's why even a homeless person, you never know. He or she might be an arahant, you know. You don't know. Maybe they have some jhanic practitioner. They look like homeless. That's how they are. Maybe not, maybe yes. So do not undermine, do not underestimate the people, and whenever you see them, be respectful to them. You know, even maybe the god sucker in disguise coming to testify your generosity, your compassion, you know, that can be yeah. Interesting.
Kyle, you cracked me up. No, the question is valid. I think it's an interesting question because who's the great teacher? No one knows. Someone can recommend someone, but that's just a recommendation. You just have to find it out on your own, no matter what. I think it's like a book. So what is a good book to read? Here's my favorite. It might work for you, might not work for you. So the same thing.
Yeah,
but
Buddha went from teacher to teacher.
Right. Yeah, he himself went from teacher to teacher. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Like you have to be open anyway. You have to be really open-hearted. Then you are ready to learn. If you are ready to learn, you can learn and be open and also be wise. Sometimes people go after those blind arahants. Like there are people like claim to be arahants. They say, okay, like I'll give you a certificate, you are Sotapanna now. I'll give you a certificate, you are Anagami, Sakadagami. You are an arahant now, okay? They would say that. And so you have to be careful also. You have to know, you will actually recognize it. The way they behave, the way they talk, the way they work, the way they walk, you know, you cannot hide from the truth forever. You can fake, somehow may be exposed if you are fake. You will recognize them. That's important. Dr. Jacobs, do you like to say something about the temperaments?
You know,
I think you wanted to say
I
something
don't know
about
if it's
that.
still so relevant or if we should maybe go into it in the afternoon or something. I don't know. I was just going to agree with you about the Dalai Lama says, watch a teacher for a while before you decide, just watch a teacher. But yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. If you want, I can say a little bit now.
Okay.
You want me to? Okay. This is kind of going back though, when we're talking about temperament, because we kind of got into
I think we can start after lunch.
after lunch. Okay, let's do that then.
I think Bante's feed is delaying. So he's getting our messages 2 seconds later.
I see. Bante, you're breaking up a little, so maybe this is one of those nimittas. We should go to lunch.
Yeah, your internet signal is degrading.
Is it my problem?
Yeah, it's on your end.
Looks like it.
It's no one's problem. It's just what it is.
With Dr. Jacobs after lunch.
Okay, Bante, I feel like we've kind of lost you.
So,
if you're hearing us, why don't you all
any
say
other questions do you have? Questions, concerns?
I should have recorded this session. This would be a fantastic case study in my networking class. Network D-Day in action.
I'll edit the last 5 minutes and give it to you.
Appreciate that. Truly appreciate that if you could.
So is it lunchtime?
Why don't we call it lunch, Bante? We're gonna break,
Yeah.
rest yourself, rest your internet, and we'll all come back. And if you're interested, I'll talk about that stuff in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, yeah. That should be good.
Okay. Thank you, Bante. Thank
so
you.
much. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Okay. Have a wonderful day and break. Thank you.